The first thing I'd say is in the beginning, I had no idea what I was doing. One would argue that maybe I don't now either, but I'm more comfortable with that. So I think that my general disposition is to always lean into validating human beings. And I believe that what I learned was as soon as I stopped talking and started listening, as soon as I developed meaningful relationships with every one of those 100 people and heard their struggles, their story, their, what they loved about their job, what they hated about their job, it became really clear as a leader that there were clusters of things that were truth for them. And if I wanted to be in a position to make change happen, then I had to embrace their truth and I had to validate that it was real for them. And then I had to figure out what we could do to change those things that made their life better. There's this misconception that I just had this debate with somebody. It was fascinating. There's this misconception that if you aren't tough with people, if you don't, you don't make them scared, you don't, berate, you don't, treat them in ways where, God damn it, you shouldn't be doing this, that, they'll just walk all over you. Well, I just believe the basic opposite. I think if you face into conflict with people in a loving way, I think if you communicate openly, if you have the courage to see that every organization in the world is flawed. Life is flawed, but do you have the courage to look at those flaws, realize that when people don't succeed at a job, it's probably 50% them and 50% the way the organization is set up, and then make a determination about what makes most sense, the way the organization is set up or the person. Leading with love doesn't mean that you don't let people go, doesn't mean that you don't hold people accountable, doesn't mean that you don't hold them to very high standards. It means that you have the courage to do loving things, even if it's to say to them, it's what I say to all the time, it is not loving to let somebody fail in their job without giving them guidance. It's not loving to let them stay in a job where everybody else in the world knows they're not a good fit. Right? It's loving to help them find another job. But, having the courage to do those things is just a different way to look at the world. And it's worked for me in the past. I've also made a ton of mistakes. Hopefully this one is a little bit different because I think Sarbina and I walked into it not with this as a core tenet, not this as, oh, maybe we'll try that. We did our values and mission with the company in the first month and a half that we were in business. Lots of people wait until there's, 40 or 50 people because the what's hitting the fan and they say, okay, now we need to have values mission statement. Well, it doesn't make sense to me that you don't have that from the beginning. If you don't, how do people follow you, or how can they be woven into the tapestry of what it is culturally the organization is about?